Rush, you know, what I really love about the Artisan Project is that we're grabbing people from different walks of life, different backgrounds, and we're pairing them with young kids, young folks that have the same thing, different walks of life, different stories, different backgrounds. We're putting them together and we're kind of teaching them something. And you know, the beauty of that is no two times are we ever going to be teaching the same thing.
You know, when you brought this project to us, I think one of the things that was so appealing was it was a creative project. There were going to be a bunch of amazing visuals and things like that. And you've started to see that in the stuff we've already shot for it.
Right.
But then the fact that we're actually bringing creativity into the spotlight was something that was really important. I mean, tell people why that was important to you.
Well, I think we lose stuff along the way. We're in that world where, you know, if you want something, you can go type it in and get anything you want. That includes art. I mean, that's the truth. And it's not necessarily art that came from somebody's hand. It's a lot of these are, you know, made from printers and things like that. But at the end of the day, the whole process of being creative, for me anyways, it outlets so many different places in my life. So I like the fact from a mental aspect that I can go sit down and throw paint on a canvas and I get my feelings out for that moment. You know what I mean? And that's a little bit of self-expression, but I think that turns into my end product too when I'm making something for a client. When I'm building something, I'm pouring my heart into that thing. And that creativity is what makes me want to get up and go to work every day. So from the loss of the mundane of every day, you know, I feel like the creative aspect of life changes so much for you, from how you feel to what your day looks like to who you get to interact with, because I get to play with some really cool folks. Because creative folks, you know, I love everybody, but creative folks are my people. You know what I mean?
There's a role for scruffy creative types like us.
I agree.
In business too.
Right. So I mean, you can't just have a product and set it on your shelf because you made something cool. You gotta do something with it. But I think that's fun too, because from the creative aspect, we get to play with marketing. I get to play on social media, which is a platform that I really like. I like to interact with people, and I like to get out what I've made. I like to get out what I've created. So yeah, from a business standpoint, you know, I gotta live too, but I get to live being creative, and that's a pretty cool thing.
Well, and that's one of the biggest things for us at Mint Farm Films is we wanna get creative not just with the content, which it is, but we want to get creative with the business side.
For sure.
Because we're living in a world now where you have second screens, you have binge watching, you have social media, you have so many places that you can put content to make stickiness for platforms.
Sure.
So if I'm a network and I've got this show on, when they're done watching an episode, I don't want them leaving my platform. I want them going to find the extra short form content that we did.
Right.
And then we also want to be real creative with monetization opportunities.
Sure.
The more great content you can create, the more a sales department in a network, and we love you too, because sales people can be creative.
Sure.
We want to give them the tools that they need to get the most out of what's really not a series, it's really a content package.
It's the total thing. It's the aspect of having a show that sends a message, and we've talked about this. Hey, look, if we get one season, and at the end of this season, that's it, it's over. Maybe this 6, 8, 10, 12 episodes, maybe we picked somebody up. Maybe somebody watched it and they went and got on whatever website and ordered the stuff for them to start being creative. So from that aspect, that's great. But we also want to create something that sets the artisan up for future. There's not very many opportunities for folks like that. If you think about shows historically, there's a singular person or a singular group of people that kind of get to reap the benefits of a show, which is just, it's business, right? And it's really smart business. But what this show does is every person that we go spend time with, we open the door for them as well. And for me, that's important because I want to show off artisans. You know, for me, I want to give artisans a platform to show off what they do, what they build. And that platform needs to reach a much broader audience.
Well, and the benefit for the network or whoever is carrying this from that is the idea that you can tie in to the whole artisan community. And so when you think about the way people find information with search engines and such, we can make this the answer to queries about finding artisan-made projects, finding handmade things. When people type those things into search engines, you want the answer to be you.
For sure.
And video content is a great way to index highly on that, especially quality stuff, which this will be.
For sure. And that maker group, that maker community, it's really big. You don't realize how large it is, but if you just consider somebody from a creative type and being a maker, it's not a narrow path. It's not just this select group of people. Everybody's got a thing that they go home and tinker with or toy with That's your creativity. That's you being a maker. So this community is a really broad group of people to impact.
Well, and then all the people that use the stuff they make, even an exponential way higher than that.
For sure. Yeah, that the end user, that's the, when you make something, you've created it, it's got this piece of you with it, but you pass it on to somebody. And when that person at the end user gets it, man, there's a piece of happiness that goes along with that. And I've seen jewelry handed over that's made plenty of people smile, especially jewelry that was handmade. For me, that's a very, very cool process.
All right. There's a lot of case to be made for a business. It involves scruffy creative types.
For sure. I'm Dustin Anderson, and this is Rush Olson with Mint Farm Films, and we're working on the Artisan project.